What's up, everybody? I'm joined here today with my friend James Cox, and James is going to introduce himself real quick, but he just played in the Puerto Rico special event this weekend. He's also attending NAIC. He's a very good player and thinker of the game, so we're going to talk about a whole bunch of NAIC metagame stuff. James, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm James Cox. I got top 4 at Worlds this year. Just got 9th in Puerto Rico. I've been playing really competitively for like 5-6 years. It's hard for me to even remember, but and yeah, I run a competitive YouTube channel. Yeah, I just run a YouTube channel over at James C TCG, so you can go check me out there.
Yeah, we'll have a link for that in the description, and Twitter and stuff. We'll link that too. Do you do coaching? People will ask.
Yep,
that.
do coaching.
Okay, cool. So message you on Twitter for that.
Yeah.
Okay,
definitely
awesome.
message me on Twitter.
So, James, you bubbled 9th at the Puerto Rico special event, and this was the first Paldea Evolved event for Western region before NAIC, of course, this upcoming week. So what did you play to Puerto Rico, and how did it go?
I played Gardevoir EX. I played a list based on the 9th place Yoshiyuki list at a few cards different from that at it was like Japan Nationals. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it went pretty well overall. My one loss in the tournament was in round 2. I lost to a Dialga Magnezone, so I mean that's kind of just how it goes. Yeah. Other than that, like I played the rest of my rounds were just Gardevoir and Lost Zone, and
So was it
yeah,
two ties that got you?
what was it?
Two draws.
Second.
That
No, I won one draw and then one loss to Dialga Magnezone, and then I tied round 1 to Kieran, who's in top 16 for NA, who I somehow hit round 1, and he was playing Lost Zone, so only could get a tie there.
So you bubbled out with 5-1-1.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
that's rough. Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you think about your deck choice going into the event? Would you change that?
No, I think it was really good. I think like if you're picking like any deck of Gardevoir and Lost Zone right now, it's pretty good. Like I mean, yeah, you can't really go wrong. I was pretty happy with the list I played as well. I felt like in the tournament, like I didn't lose to the Gardevoirs and Lost Zones I played against, which is pretty good because that's obviously even at NAIC or any tournament, that's what we're playing most of the rounds. Well, yeah, I took one tie, but yeah, no losses, and I felt even pretty good in the tie I did take. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with the deck choice I made, to be honest.
Awesome. So I don't know all of the Puerto Rico results at the time of recording this video. I know Lost Zone Box got 1st and 2nd though.
Yeah.
What do you think the meta was like there? There was about 150 masters. Are you taking the Puerto Rico meta as an NAIC preview?
Yeah, so I don't know a lot about like the whole event. Obviously, it was dominated by Gardevoir and Lost Zone. But the top 8 was all top 4 decks were Lost Zone. And in top 8 there were 5 Lost Zone, 2 Gardevoirs, and I think, as far as I know, the other deck was an Arctine Umbreon. Should be right. That's what I've been told. So I didn't actually see myself. So yeah, that was that, and so I think that the main cause for this, like, obviously all of top 4 being Lost Zone, I think the main cause for this was like literally every good US player that traveled was playing Lost Zone. So that's kind of what you see at these these like special events, small events. Like the good players that show up, whatever they're playing is going to be like what does the best.
Sure.
Like
Yeah,
this.
I was talking about this in a Twitter thread last week, saying like, do we think that people will actually look at the Puerto Rico meta or the top 8 of Puerto Rico and say, oh, that's what's good for NAIC? Because I was more thinking, you know, if we have a couple dozen like stipend chasers from United States going to Puerto Rico, and they all decide to play one deck, that doesn't mean that's the best deck, but they're probably all going to do very well because they're very good players, you know?
Yeah.
So do you think it's the kind of thing like if John and Aiden decide to play Gardevoir, that maybe Gardevoir would have gotten 1st and 2nd?
Yeah. I literally 100%. So
is Gardevoir the best deck in the format?
I think think it's hard. I think Gardevoir and Lost Zone are the two best decks for sure. Oh yeah, 100%. And then there's like the rest of the decks below that. And I think it's just super close on which is the best deck between those. I mean, I kind of think Gardevoir is just the best, but yeah, and it's super hard to tell what's favored in the Gardevoir and Lost Zone matchup as well. And it kind of feels, yeah, I mean, the matchup spread for both of the decks is super close as well. It really comes, I feel like it really comes down to personal preference, to be honest. I think they're just super close, to be honest.
So you were, you really liked Lost Zone up until now. You were Kyogre guy. So if they're so close, what causes you to switch to Guardy, do you think?
Yeah, too many bad tournaments with Lost Zone. It's got in my head. Need to switch. That's literally it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, so what I kind of feel is when you have a deck like Lost Zone. So the only tournament I played in 2023 was Baltimore, and I took Lost Zone Kyogre, finished 5-2-2. The ties definitely hurt. With a deck like that, it's very, very complicated to play. There's a lot of variance that can hit you, but I thought it was the undisputed best deck, so I played it. Now in a format where we have Gardevoir that might be the best deck, it's even a question that Lost Zone could potentially not be the very best deck. I personally don't see a lot of value in playing a deck where I can get screwed up by this variance and where it's going to be mentally taxing for 15 rounds if it's not undisputedly the best deck.
Yeah, I think Gardevoir is actually mentally taxing as well, and this brings, like you said, your ties hit you a lot. I think this is going to be a massive deal in this format, is tying, because obviously the two best decks by far are the slowest decks possible. I've thought about this, like I think Gardevoir might actually be slower than Lost Zone, because Lost Zone doesn't shuffle your deck on every action.
Yeah.
Like during your turn, you don't, like, but with Gardevoir, like if you actually sequence it right, like you're probably going to shuffle your deck like up to 10 times per turn. Like, it's kind of insane. So it's literally, and like playing a Gardevoir mirror, it literally takes forever.
We are not playing 3 games.
We are not playing 3 games. No, we're not. we might not even play 2, to be honest.
I know, but, you have to be scooping, like you gotta be scooping. Scooping is a skill in NAIC format. Like and you might have heard people say that before, but it is, if you are playing Gardevoir or Lost Zone, you need to be comfortable scooping up your cards a couple of turns into the game if you are sure that this is not going your way.
Here's my opinion. I'll give you a slightly different opinion.
Go for it.
I think if you have a game that's winnable, you have to play it, because ties are so bad that even if you don't play out this game and you lose it, you're playing for a tie in the next game, and it's so bad. Like, because if you don't think you can actually play the set for a win, like you'll get sets where your opponent's playing slowly and you know, yeah, like this is only going 2 games guaranteed. We're never finishing this 3rd game. Like if you scoop even like 10-15 minutes in, you're playing for a tie at that point. And so that's so bad to the point where it actually might be best to even just take, because if like in theory, if you think your win rate is better than 33% in that game, you should like in terms of expected outcome,
right,
you should still play out the game
for a long game one.
Yeah, you should still play out the long game one, even if you only think you have like a 35% chance of winning the game. I mean, this is obviously like, I mean, it's gonna be impossible to tell,
right?
But if you think you have a 35% chance of winning, you should play out the game, because it's your expected outcome from that is like a 33% chance of getting 3 points, but versus and you still have to win the next game as well. So like, even like if you're 30% to win that game, you still have to play it.
Right.
It's still better to play it. Like obviously scooping, if you're like very, very lost, you have to do, but. And if you think you can finish 3 games, because then you actually give yourself a chance to win.
Sure.
But,
yeah. So
that's my opinion.
What I've been thinking about for the Gardevoir mirror, like it's actually to the point where I'm not even thinking about the lines of play. I'm thinking about when do I scoop, like, and if I win game 1 and we have 25 to 30 minutes left, and I go second, obviously in game 2. And my opponent has to turn 2 candy, and then I don't. It's like, okay, this is, if we play this out, it's going to take 20 more minutes for a win that is almost likely, it's almost definitely my opponent's. So I'd rather scoop and give myself a game 3 going first with 20 minutes left to play.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're in that spot, then it's right. But it's like, if you're 10 minutes into game 1, like, to win the next game, like you're probably just not.
You're probably not winning 2 games from there.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
And that's in the mirror too. Like, so if you're Guardy and you're playing against Arctina, which does 2 things a turn, then it's kind of a different story. Because if your opponent's taking any more than 3 minutes a turn with Arctina, you probably need to call a judge, because it's like attaching energy and boss, and you're on your merry way.
Yeah. Lugia as well. It's the same thing, and like Mew as well, because the game's just so short. Like the issue with Gardevoir in Lost Zone is the game is 6 turns.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously we've been complaining that the game is 3 turns, but now we have an even bigger issue that the game is 6 turns.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Guardy and Lost Zone. So, is there a target on Guardy's back for NAIC, and should people actually care about the target?
Yeah, but I mean, I think there will be a target on Guardy, but should you care? I don't know. I mean, like, it's pretty hard to actually build a deck to beat Guardy and have a chance against Lost Zone. I mean, this is the age of thing. Like, you can't. It's so hard to build a deck that just hard to beat both. Like the Arctina Umbreon that made top 8 at top 8 at
Puerto Rico.
Whatever.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Puerto Rico. Yeah, I'm literally
You're in
there
Puerto
right now. I don't know what it's called. Yeah, I'm literally right there. I'm forgetting what it's called. But like, maybe if you could build something like that beats both. But like, an issue with a deck like that is it can't beat Lugia or Mew or like anything else. So I don't know. Like, you can't really build a deck to beat everything. So as Guardy, should you be scared of everything? I probably would say no. Yeah, I would just say no, to be honest.
Yeah, so like, personally, I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to play the best deck in format. Like, especially when the best deck in format was Mew VMAX. I was not playing Mew VMAX. When the best deck in format was Lugia, not playing Lugia. But when, in my opinion, Guardy is like so comfortably the best deck. And as you said, you feel Lost Zone is pretty close. It could be either one. In my opinion, it's Guardy. And I'm just kind of playing Guardy and not apologizing for it. Like, I'm playing Guardy and I kind of don't care about the counters because it's a 2000 Masters Division event. So if I hit a counter, oh well, I probably won't hit one next round. And I'm going to be playing the best deck in the field and not worrying about your Alolan Vulpix or whatever you got over there, you know?
Yeah. I'll play my own and probably win anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a very frustrating process when you decide you're going to play the best deck and everybody knows everything about it.
Yeah.
Did you feel like everybody was like too ready for you at Puerto Rico, or did you feel like you were playing the best deck?
Yeah, I mean, I hit the Gardevoirs in Lost Zone, so I just felt like I was playing the best deck, right? Yeah, like, I mean, it's not, there's not really much to it, to be honest. Like, I mean, most people are just gonna be playing like Mew, Lugia, Gardevoir, Lost Zone,
and some Arceus decks.
And some Arceus decks. Yeah, Arceus will be. I mean, Arceus was not that big in Puerto Rico, for what I saw. Like, there was one in top 8, but I literally didn't see.
I feel like Puerto Rico was, even with the people from Puerto Rico and that region, it was probably very concentrated with people who really care and like were really trying. And I don't feel like that echelon of players, most of them are picking Arceus into this field. So that kind of makes sense. I think the Arceus comes from the people that fall more towards like the average to above average in the bell curve, whereas Puerto Rico was probably very, very skewed towards the second and third deviations up top.
I agree.
So Lost Zone, what is the best Lost Zone variant for NAIC? Is there even one? Let's start here. Do you play stones or do you not play stones?
I think you play stones for sure. I think you play D9. I think that the main consideration is that you playing just like straight, or are you playing like straight with like Drapion. You can look at Aiden Kusa's top 8 list, just playing Aerodactyl V-Star.
I saw that.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, but that basically, if you just look at that list, but you rip off the Aerodactyl V-Stars, the Aerodactyl part is like, that's like one variant of the deck, and then the other variant is Kyogre.
Right
mainly.
now,
And then you lost
Kyogre
Tina
with
as well.
Kyogre with single prizers or Kyogre with stones? Because
No, I think Kyogre with stones still.
okay. I think stones is
what-
just too good to be playing. Like, you know, get whatever cards you need, and you can have some skill expression in your games.
Yeah, and there's
the single
there's,
prizer
like,
decks have always just like I tried the one Alex Szymanski top 8'd with the Galarian Moltres, and then took out the Galarian Moltres. Still tried it. I don't know the single prizer ones. I always miss the stones.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I tried a lot of the single. I tried a few of the single prizer like Kyogre decks as well. It's just not the same. And against, it might be like slightly better against Gardevoir, but no, I feel like it's not even because it's really hard to use Kyogre. It gets really hard to use Kyogre. So yeah, I mean, you need like a D Knight or something sometimes in that matchup as well. And yeah, stones are just the most.
And so I'll completely separate Tina from Lost Zone Box. So
Yeah.
Lost Zone Tina actually got pretty good with Jet Energy and Iono and Super Rod. Do you think there's any real reason to play that instead of a Lost Zone Box deck?
Yeah, so it is Path Roxanne, Path Iono. That's the reason. I feel like that's literally the main reason to play Tina right now. Is you can actually justify playing Path Roxanne, Path Iono. It's super hard for me to tell whether it's worse or better against Gardevoir because you still have like Sableye stuff, but you don't get to it nearly as fast as the other variants. They're kind of already a lot of the time they're already set up. The way I kind of look at this matchup, I haven't played it enough to say this 100%, but I feel like it's either they connect with a Gardevoir with a Giratina on your Gardevoir EX, or they don't win. So if they get their Giratinas chased or if anything like that happens, it's super rough for them. Or you completely brick off Path Roxanne, which can happen, but
right.
You just got to be aware of it. And like, yeah, I mean that's basically it. Is the difference is you just get Path, which other Lost Index can't play.
True. Okay. If you could tech for a deck that isn't Guardy, what are you teching for and why?
I would take for Mew if you can't beat it. Otherwise, it's not teching for Mew, but it feels like, I mean, you would play Drapion 100% in Lost Zone if you're not playing Kyogre, obviously. And then I feel like I don't know, with like in Gardevoir, I wouldn't tech for like anything, to be honest, because it really feels like you just play this deck because it's super strong, and then the more consistent you are, the better you are in Mirror. So, and it's really hard to find techs. Like I feel like the main tech in the deck that's currently ran is like Temple, Tomb are the main techs that ran, and Temple feels like the Temple is like one of the easier techs that you can run because it's a stadium that you need anyways, and the other stadiums aren't amazing, other than Collapsed. So that's like the easiest tech to run, and it still feels super niche, like it's only for Lugia.
Yeah, like
so.
I'm not super thrilled about running Temple, but because it also bumps Path, it's kind of like a tech for Mew and a tech for Tina. Like if you look at it in that way, because it's bumping their paths.
Yeah, like in Gardevoir, you need a certain amount of path bumps, so
Right.
like it being Temple isn't that bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
precisely. Okay, is Alolan Vulpix V-Star a real threat to Guardy players? Like, in theory, I feel like somebody can just take Alex Szymanski's EUIC winning list and not change a single card and have a good day one.
Yeah, I think you can have a good day one with any Arceus deck. Like it can just happen. But I don't know, because obviously Iono makes the deck worse for sure. This is what I found. I was testing Arctura Umbreon and like in the new format, and it just doesn't feel as good because the deck bricked enough. Like it had like enough mid-game bricks to begin with. Like obviously like with Arceus, like you kind of feel like you can just attach your energies and be fine, but like it really does feel like you brick a lot in the middle of the game, and when you need to hit like bosses or like any cards before, and then now with Iono, it's like you get Iono to 1, you're not going to hit boss. Like you don't even Ultra Ball that's fully Minion, so because you don't have enough cards in hand. So yeah, and that's kind of the issue I feel with that deck, and with Alolan Vulpix as well. Like you get memory skipped, and memory skip's even worse than it was before, and it wasn't like insane. It wasn't like Vulpix wasn't insane before, and like your opponent could be running Spiritomb. It's such a risky strategy.
Yeah, Spiritomb from you, and then you also say, hey, if I run into Vulpix, I'll just Spiritomb my Zacian, and that's over with now.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of us will run it. And I feel like a decent amount of lists will be running Spiritomb.
Yeah.
Because Fusion matchup is scary for Gardevoir, but...
Yeah. Yeah, I thought of that too, but I'm just like, I'll let other people tech. I just want to play the best deck. You know?
Yeah, just play Memory Skip and be fine, yeah.
Yeah, like Memory Skip Iono is a lot better than Memory Skip Judge.
Yeah, for sure it is.
My last real question for you is about Chien-Pao. So, so this is my philosophy, and you can disagree with me if you want, but I feel like I'm going into the tournament, I'm playing Gardevoir, I know my own deck, and I feel like most experienced players, or the very top echelon of players, will not be playing Chien-Pao. And I feel like I will have experience on my side 90% of the time in that matchup because of who will be actually playing Chien-Pao. So, what do you think about the deck?
Oh, Chien-Pao's alright. I think it's... I don't think it's too hard to play because like, I don't know, it can be kind of annoying to like sequence and to getting your cross switcher cologne, and it's just like a high, it's kind of like I lost to Dialga in this tournament, and the reason that I feel like I lost to it is because it's not like lost on a Gardevoir, it just adds variance. It's just a kind of a deck that adds variance. Like if they hit their cross switcher cologne on turn 2, yeah, like probably not gonna win.
Yeah, they have it, then yeah, go next.
Yeah, exactly. So I would be decently scared of it. I feel like it won't be played as much as it's played online. Like the 14% you see online is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's not worth 14%.
Yeah, it's not worth 14%. Well, like there just isn't a way to solve like a Losso matchup in like a lot of your other matchups.
I just look at that deck and I'm like, why aren't you playing like... Okay, so like obviously any deck can be asked, why aren't you playing Guardy or Lost Zone? Because they're so good.
Yeah.
They both gained a lot from this set. But if you don't want to play one of those, we already have other tried and true decks that are a little easier and more streamlined. Mew, 2 versions of Mew, 2 versions of Lugia, at least like 2 to 3 mainstreamed versions of Arceus. Like, I feel like you want to play any of those before you play a new archetype that hasn't even been proven yet and didn't do anything in Japanese events.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the deck can be built in a way that it's favored against Gardevoir, but you can't really beat much.
You're not going to beat Lost Zone like that.
Yeah, you're not going to beat Lost Zone.
Like I thought about
running a hard poker stop.
Yeah, I thought about the Mew Celebrations kind of variant of it.
Yeah,
but like I gave up on Chien-Pao before I even got to trying that because I'm like, I'm just gonna play Guardy anyway. Like, there's nothing Chien-Pao that's going to do that makes me think it's better than Guardy.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last question for you, you can pick your 3 top guesses on what will win the event. Best guess to 3rd best guess on the winning deck for NAIC Masters Division.
Okay, Gardevoir Lost Zone. I don't even know what I'd say the third deck is. And this is probably the best weekend to play Fusion Mew. I think I'll say Fusion Mew.
I completely agree. Yeah, I think Fusion Mew is just under the BDIFs.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's alongside like Lugia and stuff, but I think Fusion Mew is probably the 3rd best.
Yep. Awesome. Okay, well, James, thank you so much. And if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe here, but also subscribe to James's YouTube channel and follow him on Twitter. Links for those things will be in the description down below. And if I forgot to put them there, you can ask for them in the comments, and then I'll put them there and probably pin your comment. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time here on Celios Network.